am so excited to introduce my guest for today. Mr. Michael Finkley is a personal friend of mine. He is an educational consultant like I am and has an amazing, amazing YouTube channel that you must check out. He actually had me not too long ago, and I wanted to have him here to share his first gen experience with you, which is the topic of conversation since today is National First Gen Day. And I really thought, you know what, who better than Mr. Finkley to share his amazing experience? He's been doing this for a few years now, right, Mike?
Yeah.
So, I just wanted him to share and really promote all the good stuff that he's doing for our first gen population. I think there's no better person to speak to this than Michael. So, Michael, can you share a little bit about your background, what you're doing, all the good stuff that you're doing for our first gen population?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much, Martha, for having me on. Thank you so much. It is
Oh,
an
you're
honor
welcome.
and a privilege. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So first gen, right? Yay, it's our day. And I
Yes,
always describe it as a club, right? An
I love
exclusive
it.
club that many cannot get into. So yay for us, right?
Yes, that's the truth.
Definitely. So I didn't realize I was a first gen until I started working in admissions professionally. I didn't realize
Mm.
what first generation was. And so once I learned this concept, I'm like, whoa, so there are many more people that were going through the same things as I was going through. And so I knew I wanted to go into education when I was in grade school, but I never knew that you had to go to college to do that.
Mm.
And so I had my first black male teacher in eighth grade. And I'm like, I want to do what he does. I want to do it. I want to do what he does.
Oh, I love
And
it.
so 12th grade year, high school, we started going on college tours and all that kind of good stuff. And that's when I seriously started thinking about college, 12th grade year.
That's so
So I
awesome.
started applying to schools and, certain scholarships that were in my face or that were given to me. Didn't know that you had to search for these type of things. And the first school that accepted me, I went to. And it was, the process of that was just that. I applied to school and I went. And then when I accepted that acceptance to that school, that's when I saw other schools saying, hey, come to us, come to us. And then I missed out on so many scholarship opportunities by not just
Really?
opening the mail.
Oh my goodness. So were you able to get any of those scholarships like in the process, or was this after you were admitted?
It
None.
was it was so late, it was so
Oh,
late. It was the summertime by the time I realized I missed out on all this money.
oh my
But
goodness.
when it came down to the FAFSA process, my alma mater now helped me tremendously. Like I said, I had a sister that went to school before me 2 years prior to, and it was a process for her as well. So, but she wasn't there to help me. So it was
Mm.
just something that I had to figure out on my own. And it took a long time. And so once I graduated from college, I started working in admissions professionally and just started learning different things in the other process, the do's and don'ts. And I worked at, HBCUs, I worked at PWIs, for-profit schools, for your traditional, four-year institutions and community colleges, technical schools.
Wow.
And so with all this experience, it was, I had to share this information. I had to share this information with students. And so 2018, in the process of me helping students and parents along the way, I'm like, hey, let's turn this into a business, maybe. Maybe this will be great. And I can consult people and help them
Yes.
along the way. And that's what I did. March
So
5th. Yeah. Mhm.
so how many years did it take you before you actually made that decision where you were like, I'm gonna do this,
Um,
I have the experience?
yeah, so me actually being comfortable enough to actually start charging people to
Yes.
get to that point, it took me maybe 4 or 5 years.
Okay. Before
Yeah,
you actually felt comfortable.
yeah, yeah.
And tell us a little bit about you getting into admissions. Like, what was that process like? Did you have to have like previous experience? You knew you wanted to be in the education
Mhm,
field, but in terms of like higher ed, you were in community college, admissions, all that good stuff.
mhm,
What type of
mhm.
background were they looking for? Or what do you think helped?
Yeah, so undergrad, I was a student ambassador. So all four
Ah,
years, I assisted admission counselors at my school to recruit students. My freshman
I
year, I
love
went
it.
back to my high school to recruit students.
See, so that speaks a lot to really being involved when you're in
Exactly.
college and really just not
Exactly.
underestimating the opportunities that are out there. And that's something that I think a lot of students take for granted. I know
Hmm.
personally, I would volunteer and I didn't think anything of it. And then come
Hmm.
to find out, it's like, hey, this actually helps on my resume, like to get that experience. So that I think you bring up an excellent point is just making sure that you are involved and that's going to serve as experience because just going to
Exactly.
school and going to classes, I think a lot of
Mhm.
times students make the assumption that, oh, I'm good, people are just going to hire me because I have a degree, and it's like,
Mhm.
no. You need some
Right.
experience.
Right. Where's the experience behind it?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that sounds like is what really helped you. You put that on your resume, people look at that and
Yeah.
think, oh,
Mhm.
you know what you're doing, like you've been doing this for a long time. So
Exactly.
how does that help
Exactly.
you now in your current role? You're helping students, you're working with organizations. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, yes. So all that experience again helps me now. I still keep in contact with persons that I met along the way. Like just a few months ago, I had a conversation with VPs of enrollment management at different institutions in New Hampshire and Ohio, and we were
Wow.
talking about COVID and what trainings are they seeing and that type of thing. So it gives me an idea of what to share with parents and students at the time. So it has helped me tremendously. And again, I am helping as many as I can to get them, if they're pursuing college, great, let's talk about it. Okay.
Right.
We want to get you as much money as we can. We want to get you in touch with the right person. So definitely, definitely it's helped me tremendously.
That's amazing. And let's get into your first gen experience, right? Obviously, all those experiences have kind of like combined and, fulfilled this passion of yours working with students. But what would you say was your biggest challenge as a first gen student?
Coping, coping.
Really?
And I'm so glad you mentioned earlier about being involved. My freshman year in college, I was about to drop out
Oh,
because it was a new place. I was far away from my family. I didn't know anybody there. They didn't know
yeah.
me. I didn't know them. I didn't want to get a chance to know them. And so I called my mom and I'm like, Mama, I want to come back home. In my
Oh,
mind, because I know I'm a very determined individual. And so I called my mom, I called my former employer. I was working at Burger King at the time, all through high school, and they
mhm.
really wanted me to be a manager. So I was like,
Oh,
okay, you know what? I'm just gonna give up this school. I'm gonna go back home. I'm gonna go work at Burger King. I'm gonna be a manager. I'm gonna be making $1,000 every 2 weeks. So that's money, right? Then I'm gonna go to a school near my home. So I already had it set. Everything was in play, right?
right.
So my mom was like, I'm coming, baby. I'm coming. But at the time, my mom's fiance, which is now my stepfather,
Mhm.
he stepped in and he told her, don't get that boy. Don't go get him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
And I'm
my
like, oh,
goodness.
my mom's not gonna listen to him. She's not. No, my mama love me. She gonna come see about me because I'm her only son. You're gonna come see me.
Right.
She didn't come.
And so how did you take that? Because you were like, I'm ready, this is my plan, like I'm set. What was that like for you?
I was devastated.
Oh,
First of all, I had everything laid out for myself. I was devastated, but I'm so glad she did not come because it gave me an opportunity to get active on my
right.
campus. And because I became active, I started organizations. I pledged an
That's
officer
amazing.
fraternity. I was involved in all aspects of the university. I was representing the university at galas, speaking, and that kind of thing.
Wow.
And so because I became involved, it became more of a sense of community for me. Therefore, my community became my family.
That's
So
amazing.
it was amazing. I'm so glad I tell my mom to this day. I'm so glad you didn't come get me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, based on your experience, would you say that in order to overcome that challenge of just not being able to cope, was it finding just like people that had similar experiences to you, or what would you say was what really helped you overcome that
Yeah, definitely
challenge?
finding your community. right?
Right.
That looks different for everybody. Find like-minded people that have the same drive and, the same passions as you as well. I have a group of persons and friends and fraternity brothers that I can now call on. We still chat. We FaceTime. One of my good
That's
friends,
awesome.
we still FaceTime like every other day, if not every day. I was just at one of my fraternity brothers' house on last evening, and more brothers came over, just fellowshipping together. So I
Right.
found my niche, I found the people, I found my tribe, and we supported one another.
I love
So when
it.
you were down, I lift you up, and vice versa. So definitely don't be afraid to get yourself out there and just become involved, become active, start networking, collaborating, and you'll be surprised what comes at the end.
Now, let me ask you this because this actually, well, comes up for me personally. And I know you've shared that you're somewhat of an introvert like myself. We have students that are introverts that are just like, I don't like talking to people. I don't like putting myself out there. What would be your advice to them where it's like, okay, maybe you should do this if you're having, issues with that?
Yeah, so baby steps, right? Before I jumped out there and became, I guess out there and becoming active,
Right.
I just put myself in different places, right? So I
Okay.
would go to a game, even though I'm not a sports dude, I would just go to a game just
Right.
because it was free for students. So I would go to a game, or, I would, maybe go to if there was an interest meeting for an organization or a club, I would just go and sit there and be quiet,
I love it.
and because I pushed myself to go to these various things and become active in that right, that's when things started opening up for me. So I would say I would just push yourself just to go even when you don't want to, kind of just nudge yourself. And again,
Right.
you'll be surprised. You'll definitely be surprised.
And I think you make a good point. That speaks to like really getting out of your comfort zone. And I think that's what college is
Yes,
about, right? You are
it
getting out of your
is.
comfort zone. You're
It
leaving home.
is.
Well, sometimes you leave home. For some, they stay home. But for those that you do leave home, you're in a new environment. It is a lot of coping and having to deal with all these
Yeah.
new experiences. But just
Mhm.
being open to it, right? And being okay with being uncomfortable for a little bit.
Exactly. And I always tell students as well, college, you're there to gain a certificate or, a degree or what have you. But again, college in that frame of time that you're there is supposed to change you overall. The
Absolutely.
social, the academic, the spiritual as well, depending. So this is what you're not only paying for a degree, but you're paying for an experience.
Absolutely. Totally, totally agree with you, Michael. Well, thank you so much. But let's talk about what you have in terms of tools, resources for our students, because I know you have amazing stuff and I would want them to go to all of that amazing stuff that you have. Can you share a little bit about what you have?
I sure can. So, along with my consulting firm, the Finkley Experience, we created a book and workbook, or a college educational
Yes.
set. So, I have it here with me. I always
Yes.
have copies.
Let's see
So,
that.
the book is actually called A College Readiness Guide for First Generation Students. It
Beautiful.
talks about the college application process, it talks about financial aid, scholarships, what information you need within these processes. Is college really for
Absolutely.
me? So, give you alternatives in that right as well. And also in the back, I give you some advice that admission counselors don't usually share with you. So
Yes.
awesome secrets here.
I
And
love
then
it.
also along with the workbook, this is a trekking guide from high school to college. So
Oh
within
my
this trekking guide,
gosh.
we give you checklists. We talk about what's your learning style, time management, creating an
That's
academic
amazing.
resume, letters of recommendation, how to write an essay, those type of things. Keeping information about your volunteer hours and FAFSA information once we get to that point. So
Yeah.
great tools, definitely great tools with that. And that's on our
Amazing.
website at thethinklyexperience.com. And then also we have a YouTube platform as well, The Michael Finkley
Yay.
Show. And a lot of it is career and college based as well. And so we have experts in the field of education, engineering, business, entrepreneurship, that type of thing. So if you're looking to go into any of those avenues, go hear their stories, and also too, we talk with admissions personnel as well at various
I love it.
institutions that tell you what's going on. We also have a few college presidents up there as well that
Nice.
can tell you from their perspectives too. So go visit us at the Michael Finkley Show on YouTube.
Yes, so helpful, so resourceful for those of you that are listening. And that workbook that you have, let me just say, it is, I think what is most amazing about having both of those components together is they're all in one place. I feel like sometimes you're
Yes.
doing stuff here and there. It's like, where did I leave that? And where did I put my
Hmm.
volunteer hours? And it's in one
Exactly.
place, everything is there. And can they contact you, Michael, if they have any
Yes,
questions?
please contact me. You can email me,
Awesome.
Michael at thefinkleyexperience.com. You can DM me as well on any of my social platforms on IG, Facebook. We're on
LinkedIn?
LinkedIn. Yes,
Yes.
LinkedIn. So,
So
yeah, hit me up.
I love it. Funny story. That's actually how Michael and I met. We have never
Yeah,
met in person,
we've never
but
met
we
in person.
connected on LinkedIn and we just connected really well. And we've been
Mhm.
friends ever since. So, Michael, thank
Yes.
you so much for being here and for really providing so much amazing information. And you are amazing, my friend. And I thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you for what you're doing. And anything I can do to assist you to make you better, you
Oh,
contact me.
I will. Thank you, my friend. See
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Bye bye.